Thursday afternoon. We are ripping a Ball Mania 6 draft on Underdog. I think this is going to be our final live stream, and had to bring in a super duper special guest. He is an NFL analyst at ESPN. Ben Solak, welcome.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate it. I didn't realize this was going to be your last one. You're not drafting end of April.
Well, I have, I think, about 28 drafts left after this, and I've done a lot with guests. I've done some during karaoke streams where
Nice.
the attention gets divided a little bit. I'd like to have a few drafts just for myself, and
That's fair.
and there's just like so many pressers going on at this time in training camp, and trying to focus a little bit more on that as well. Ben, you just recently completed a training camp tour, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Any special nuggets that you gleaned from that?
I don't probably no more than the average Coach Speak Index consumer would have, right? Like I'm there for one presser as opposed to, and like if that I'm there for one presser as opposed to a bunch of them. I think I left Indy feeling more Tyler Warren hype than I'd even thought coming in. I felt like, all right, like I should be calibrating to this a little bit. I left Washington feeling like, yeah, like everybody's going to get 25 touches in this offense, right? Like this is not going to be a concentrated offense at all. And that was a little bit before some of the most recent Brian Robinson news as well. That was before some of the Terry news. So I left them feeling like, all right, like they're going to be super spread out. Buffalo, similar thing, right? It was just like, okay, is there anybody who really like is going to leap and be the primary target getter here? Like, probably not. Yeah, that's, you're not going to get too much fantasy football insights when you're doing my work, which is more of a like, developing the connections and everything like that. You don't want to be like, hey, so, who are you giving 130 touches to? It's not a good way to get coaches on your side.
Yeah. The Tyler Warren hype is truly inescapable. And it's been that way from the Colts, from Chris Ballard, from Shane Steichen, ever since they drafted him. Actually, before they drafted him, they were talking about how much they want this Y tight end in their offense. They wanted Brock Bowers last season, missed out on that. Get Tyler Warren this year. And ever since they drafted him, it's a hype train that is full speed ahead, from everyone at camp that's reporting on it, from the coaches, from the general manager. Seems like he's going to be super, super involved in this offense. I think a pillar of this offense, and getting kind of Taysom Hilly vibes as well from them, as far as like all the different ways that they want to use them. If it's going to be Daniel Jones at quarterback, maybe we see some of the tush push stuff with Tyler Warren in there. I think next year we'll be talking about Tyler Warren as an elite tight end option.
Yeah, the Taysom Hill thing I think is on the nose. I think they're going to get him weird touches in short yardage and in red zone too. So that's what's exciting to see.
Yeah. Before we jump into this draft, want to do a quick, fun little segment. Ben, you are notoriously a late night cheese connoisseur.
Gotta be.
So I'm going to list some current Green Bay Packers for you, and I would like to hear your cheese comps for each of them.
Oh, wow.
What cheese is Jordan Love?
Jordan Love is Gouda in that he's quite good. He's probably a little bit overrated. There's probably some other soft cheeses that don't get as much shine, that deserve more shine. But it's it's an explosive cheese, right? I mean, you can get a really good Gouda. You have yourself a really good day. Same thing with Jordan Love.
Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs is, and I get made fun of for this because I like, okay, I'm the cheese guy, but I just love like a cheddar cheese. Mm-hmm. And Josh Jacobs is your Tillamook sharp cheddar, right? It's just, it never does you wrong. It's always good. It's always delicious. It's great on everything. It's a humble cheese, right? It's not a self-impressed cheese. That's a good cheese.
Jaden Reed.
What's Jaden Reed? He's kind of like is like a role player, but he's like better than a role player. Is maybe like a Gruyere. Like it's, you can only use him for certain things because like the flavor is kind of specific, but also still he's like highly valuable. And he's yeah, I like that. I'll go Gruyere cheese for Jaden Reed.
All right, Matthew Golden.
I have no idea if Matthew Golden's going to be good or not. So what's a cheese where I don't know if it's going to be good or not? That's got to be like one with a large range of different flavors.
Like a lavender cheese?
What's I haven't had a lavender cheese. Yeah. What's a lavender cheese now?
I've actually never had. I've seen it in when I was in the Netherlands. They have this lavender cheese there. I've heard they have it in the States here. I've never been courageous enough to jump into the lavender cheese.
Maybe it's like manchego, where I'm like, I don't actually know what manchego tastes like. I've heard of it. I'm certain I've eaten it, but like I can't come to mind right now and be like, oh yes, the manchego cheese. So maybe that's Matthew Golden right now.
Marshawn Lloyd.
Oh, Marshawn Lloyd is very disappointing because he won't stop getting hurt. So is he Swiss cheese? He's got too many holes in him, right? And that's the parallel. Is that he's too banged up. He's got too many structural issues going on. Maybe he's Swiss cheese for that reason.
All right, couple more. Dontavian Wicks.
I have a soft spot in my heart for Dontavian Wicks, despite the fact that he is at times extremely unreliable. So like blue cheese, all right. So we're like, you can have a bad blue cheese. You're a little bit of a risk when you're having a blue cheese, but I do love blue cheese, even though it leaves a bad taste in my mouth every so often.
Finally, head coach Matt LaFleur.
LaFleur. I'm thinking about like the Trader Joe's unexpected cheddar, where it's surprisingly good for the way that it appears, right? It's unassuming. Matt LaFleur, not the most traditional, it's just, he's my height, right? He's not like, the Dan Campbell aesthetic of head coaches. But he's a darn good head coach. He's one of the most winning coaches in his own right. Unexpected cheddar, one of the most winning cheeses in its own right, despite the fact that it's unassuming. So we'll go unexpected cheddar, which is a compliment, to be clear, for Matt LaFleur.
Nailed it. Crushed it.
Oh, I was scraping my memory for cheeses. It was a difficult ask.
You did a great job on the spot. No heads up. We're gonna jump in this Best Ball Mania 6 draft here. Give you like a 5-second heads up. Clicking the button right now, and we'll get it up on screen. And we'll draft this team that is guaranteed to win us $2 million. Ben, what are you going to do with your mill?
Probably buy a lot of Best Ball Mania 7 entrances. I would say it's going to be, this is investing, all right? It's about compound interest. It's year over year, brother.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. I actually haven't done BBM in a while, just because like they had puppy 3, and they had, I think it was a Pomeranian or something, like the lower entry ones. And so often I'm doing these when like I'm pushing the stroller with the baby, or like I'm lifting in the gym or something. And so my head is like 85% in it. So I'd so much rather do like 3 small ones as opposed to 1 big one. So I have to recalibrate back to a lobby that knows how to stack, knows what they're doing.
Yeah. By the time I start drafting in those contests, they're already filled up. Like, okay, well,
yeah,
would I like to max this? And I like those, like, 20 max, 10 max contests that they have. And yeah, they fill up super, super quickly.
What are these little percentiles I'm looking at here?
Oh yeah,
you have the little sidecar.
Yeah, this is an overlay from Spike Week that shows their week 15, 16, 17 fantasy playoff schedule. The percentages are, look at that, Influencer 101. We talked about it before we went live. And yeah, these are the percentages that I have of these players here. So I got 13% Jamar Chase, running well over expectation for 101. I got him at the 102 in one draft. But
so what's the second percentage behind the 13 then?
The second is I think it's, you know what? I'm not sure. I'm not actually sure.
Is it fees, right? It's like the first one is exposure and the second one is fees overall for you?
Well, the first one is tourney percentage. The second one is slate percentage.
Yeah, they're so similar. So it feels like it wouldn't be fees. Like there should be a bigger difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are we?
It's a James. I have all my week matchups memorized. Now I'm gonna use the cheat sheet here.
Do you just like straight up memorize them? Do you use any? Oh, we're on the clock. Do we?
Chase for sure. Yeah. I mean, like if you have the opportunity to take him, you take him. Triple Crown last year, like, and I mean, if it's him or the field, who's gonna be wide receiver 1? You obviously take the field. Like I think both CD and Jefferson are really strong this year, but you're not gonna say no to Chase when you have the chance to just get him in the portfolio.
Yeah, that's something where people like to say, oh, the guy that finished first in 1 year like doesn't finish first. Well, okay, that's fine, but like you can't take the field at the 101. So you have to
I can win a tournament with the wide receiver 3 overall, the wide receiver 4 overall. So even if Chase is not the wide receiver 1 overall, but I do well the rest of the draft, I like, so long as he like has the 17-week season, we expected Jamar Chase to be one of the top fantasy scoring receivers. And so you still just want to like people to diversify the portfolio.
Yeah. Got a question here in chat. Mr. Nick 13's home league has decided that passing and rushing touchdowns are all worth 6 points. How should I approach the QB position now? Any advice, Ben?
I would go and try to look at last year's pass rates in the red zone, especially pass rate over expectation. I don't know if that data is public or not. I have it through Next Gen Stats, and like Aaron Rodgers was the first player who immediately came to mind. Rodgers Jets teams, their pass rate over expectation inside the 20 was like ludicrously higher than every other team. I think the Bengals were number 2, but it was still like 6, 7, 8 percentage points difference because Rodgers canning a bunch of calls to the line, and Rodgers would prefer to pick his 1-on-1s and throw his 50-50 balls and hand the football off. He's that level of like he wants that control over the offense. And so if passing touchdowns are more valuable, then I want to find teams who are more likely to pass in the red zone and then see if I can bump their quarterbacks up a little bit, right? Baker Mayfield or Liam Cohen, the other guy who comes to mind, they threw a lot in the red zone, and now Liam's in Jacksonville. Does that move Trevor Lawrence a couple spots up in your quarterback rankings? That'd be where my head goes.
Chase Brown going before Ashton Genty.
I'm so pissed with how early Chase Brown has gone. Chase Brown was such a fun click at like 2.7, 2.8, and now I had him go like 2.4, 2.5 in like 6 straight drafts when I was sitting there with that with like 3 overall or 4 overall, and yeah, he's flying off the board these days.
Yeah,
Bowers 1.9 too.
Man, wow, that's a guy that's been going later in the second round lately. So we're in a unique draft here. I'll address this now. As far as urgency for an elite QB, it just depends to me on like what pocket of the draft you're in. I think early third round, there are just so many guys that.
What's our board look like?
Here we go. Here, let me pull up ADP. It's Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs, Tyreek Hill, T. Higgins, Trey McBride by ADP. Just a couple picks away now. Jonathan Taylor off the board. And we're 1 pick away.
Yeah. So here I like when I'm choosing between T or McBride and kind of how I want to chase this. I will take both sometimes. I feel like that gets very chalky. If I'm going to drop one, I'm going to drop T, and then I'll take either Gesicki or a Yosevas late. So I'm pretty much always clicking McBride here personally, and then Higgins I'm clicking sometimes.
Okay, so I've got McBride queued here, and then I'd definitely be open to taking T. Higgins if you want. That Chase Brown drafter was so early in the second round that I feel like they would not be a big threat for Joe Burrow later if we want to push him to that 6-7.
Yeah, I feel good with that.
Or 5-6, I guess.
And when things were getting weird there, like with Chase going early and with Brock going early, I was like, all right, if somebody falls odd, like ADP, like if AJ Brown makes it all the way back, then like I'll just take that and I'll just go for the unique Chase Brown instead of like prioritizing the stack. But once like the alternative options are Tyreek Hill and Amari and Hampton, just kind of who you expect to be there, then it's like, all right, I'm not going to get smart. I'll just take the stack and I'll try to find a way to get weird further down the board.
Let me go back here real quick. Yeah, so in this, and you see it right here in this draft, early in the third round, like I would much rather take Lamar Jackson over guys like Tyreek Hill and Marvin Harrison Jr., Omari and Hampton. I don't know how you feel about that, Ben. I do like some of the later round QBs. There's this area of the draft between like 8 and 10 or 8 and 11 where there are some really nice QBs in that range. And for me, it's a lot of times just like which one of them is falling. Like, is Dak Prescott falling around here? Okay, let's click Dak. Very, very big on Drake May this year.
Same.
His ADP is starting to rise up a little bit, but this is a guy who had around 450 rushing yards last year and only had one designed run. The Patriots this year would like to open that up a little bit more. I don't think it's going to be some, like Lamar type thing or like even earlier career Josh Allen, but I think 700, maybe 800 rushing yards. Definitely within his range of outcomes there. Any late round QBs that you're really liking this year, Ben?
Talk about best ball specifically.
Yeah, best ball.
Yeah, I have an enormous amount of Fields in May. I will take Fields naked, right? No Garrett Williams, no Garrett Wilson, no Brees Hall. And then if I get Mason Taylor, Josh Reynolds at 18, great. Like, but I'm not. I'll take him with just one pass catcher. I will click May and Fields at like in like the 9-10 turn when I don't have Diggs, I don't have Garrett, I have nobody, and then I just feel like, all right, as long as I get Kyle Williams and or Hunter Henry and or Demario Douglas, and then one, like I said, like one of Taylor or Reynolds. I love the stack. I love both guys to exceed ADP. I think that Fields rushing for over 1,000 yards is something that is like extremely live with the way they've talked about using him, with the fact that he's probably going to start the majority of the season. Like they're not at all right now in a headspace of like if and when Tyrod Taylor, outperforms him. You remember this, Glenn and Moogie think this is like a long-term rebuild. So they're not going to waste time playing Tyrod Taylor when there's more like Justin Fields reps and potential development and so on to investigate. And so those two guys at ADP there. And then I just constantly take Browers before ADP, and I'll take Jacoby Myers a little bit before ADP just so I have the ability to hit Geno late. And obviously you can take Geno with like Thornton Besh or throw Trey Tucker in there if you want to. But Geno's just going to throw the ball a lot because that defense is abysmal. And when Geno throws the ball, he pushes it, he shoots. He wants to rack up yardage. So you're gonna take some interceptions. But the passing volume is going to be extremely high for him, and the offensive improvement there with Chip Kelly and with those weapons is legitimate. So Geno's the guy who I'm always trying to like get a Jalen Waddle, get a Jacoby Myers, so I have someone in the 20s to click in case I miss my first plans at stacks. But Geno's the one who I come back to the most.
Yeah, love Geno in the like late 150, 160 range that he's going. Super fast paced offense, just better head coach, better offensive coordinator.
Garrett Wilson at 45. Oof.
Yeah.
Can you scroll down a little bit so I see some other receivers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Waddle, Kamara. Okay.
We're on the clock here. There's Brees Hall, Kenneth Walker.
So I still really like Brees at ADP. I think that he's going to catch a ton of passes, and I also think that running game is going to be fairly good. And so while I certainly love Braylon Allen and like was getting a lot of Braylon Allen late when he was in the 50s, like I still will take Brees at running back 15. I think that's good.
And the next pick?
Yeah, Walker I'm squirrelish on because of the foot and everything. I don't know where you feel on that. So if it were me here, I'm probably clicking Metcalf, Devontae, or Waddle.
Okay. I think I have less Devontae, and I've been trying to get a little bit more of him. Week
and he
9.
just popped an injury, but it sounds like a just managing practice before week 1 thing. I don't know what's your read been on it, but yeah.
Yeah. The Eagles are not super forthcoming with injuries. When Sirianni does comment on them, he is reliable, but he just so rarely comments on injury timelines. Somebody asking if it's wild to like Chase Brown more than Bucky Irving. I don't think it is. I'm actually flipping Chase Brown over Bucky Irving in my next rankings update. The workload is going to be crazy on an offense that's going to go burr, partly because their defense is on paper very bad. Like, we always predict, this defense will be bad, this defense will be bad, and sometimes it isn't as bad as we think. But it looks like the Bengals defense could be abysmal, especially if there's no Trey Hendrickson.
42 overall Travion Henderson did. I don't like. If you had to guess what the snap count split or the touches split is going to be between him and Stevenson in the first month of the season, what would you guess?
Man, if Ramondre does not fumble for the first 4 games,
that's what I'm saying. The first 4,
yeah. I could see it being like 60% Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, like I love Travion Henderson's talent as much as the next guy. Omarion Hampton, James Cook, Kyron Williams, these guys are going to be taking 80% of those touches to start the season. Henderson, I love him. He's great. I love to click him when he's there at ADP, but he's been going so much earlier.
I hate it.
I just can't be that positive that he's not a timeshare back, right? Like, okay. And then Kenneth Walker, like I started talking about Brees Hall, you start to get into that range. Okay, maybe these guys are more 60-40, but you're still kind of reaching that.
Yeah, it's crazy how much a kickoff return touchdown spikes his ADP.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, he looked juiced up on that return though. I was watching it like, good gracious, that kid can move.
Yeah. I mean, we're projecting a lot of things for him when we're taking
Oh,
him
Burrow went
that early. Wow. Okay, that's fine.
Is that the Chase Brown player?
It is not.
Not. Heck
It's
yeah. Awesome.
unstacked Joe
All
Burrow.
right. And we took Devontae. So now we got to go get a receiver that we feel like we can actually stack with somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. I'm always fine pushing Burrow there. Let's take a look at our team real quick. Breece Hall at running back, wide receivers, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, tight end, Trey McBride. Nice week 17 stuff going on there. We're in a position for later. I don't know how you feel about Kyler Murray, but maybe he'll be available at the 8-9 turn.
I like hitting Murray at ADP. I don't feel like I need to go reach for him to pair him with McBride or with like if I have Marv, just because McBride and Marv are going to be so target heavy that like they can carry themselves even if Kyler's having an average season. He also doesn't run the ball that much. My first thought is immediately Fields Breece stack, assuming Fields throws the ball a lot to Breece, and then like potentially taking no other pass catchers to pursue uniqueness. Like when I have Breece, I start thinking, can I get Fields and not touch Mason Taylor, not touch Josh Reynolds, just have a weird quarterback, running back, no pass catcher stack, and assume that Breece becomes a really heavy target for him, and Allen is more the ball carrier.
On the clock here, Chris Olave, Isaiah Pacheco, Jacoby Myers, Juwan Jennings.
Yeah. So I would take Myers here immediately because it gives me the ability to go get a Geno. I can late stack with Thornton and Besh. I can go get a Giants pass catcher late. Like it just gives you a lot of flexibility.
All right.
Is Tony Pollard still available?
I don't think he is. I believe he went. Okay. He's been drafted.
Either Pacheco or Montgomery or Jones interesting to me here. I'm not a big Caleb guy. Olave is also interesting to me.
Yeah, I'm taking a good deal of Pacheco here in this area. You know, it's kind of recency bias. I think that is I got to go back and re-sign into Spike Week here to get it up on screen. But yeah, he got a lot of work at the beginning of last season. Then he gets injured. He comes back and looks like a running back who is injured. And he's, well past that injury now.
I think he was running back 2 for me last year in exposure. He was like running back 11 there to start the process. And it was just like, dude, like he's going to be the only ball carrier for this still quite good offense, we thought at the time. And even as that offense became more incremental, like they still just needed him to soak up carries. Oh, it was tough when he was out for the season, or out for the stretch of the season, I should say.
Yeah, he was going, I think, in the 3rd round, like end of the 3rd round for much of the drafting season.
Where are you at on Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason at ADP right now?
I like both of them at ADP. I do think that it's going to be like a pretty 50-50 split between those two. Kevin O'Connell has been wanting kind of a 1A, 1B backfield there. He tried to make it happen with Ty Chandler. That did not go off well because
I loved the Ty Chandler stretch because of like how often he would get clicked by people. And like a lot of like for fantasy bros, it's right. It's, checking usage, hearing what coaches are saying. A lot of it for me is just watching the players. And so for me, I was like, okay, I'm just not going to ever click Ty Chandler. Like I just don't think he has the talent to justify this ADP. So whenever there are players like that, I'm always just like, absolutely, go for it, fantasy community, right? Live your dreams. Like you whatever you guys want to do, go for it.
Yeah, I think in this Kevin O'Connell offense, it's still going to be obviously, higher than average pass rate over expectation, but I do think they're going to lean into the run a little more this year. They've signaled that with their actions. They've upgraded the interior offensive line, getting Ryan Kelly, getting Will Fries there. They have 2 really good tackles, and hopefully they can stay healthy, especially Darisaw. And Jordan Mason is a really good runner, and they're talking about him being the goal line runner for them. Aaron Jones was not super successful in that short yardage area, and I mean Kevin O'Connell said he was basically doing backflips when they got Jordan Mason just because of this 1A 1B backfield that it gives him now. And if the defense is going to continue being pretty good, and they're, we saw them last year when they're salting away leads in the fourth quarter and they're just pounding the shit out of the ball with like Cam Akers, then I feel pretty good about Jordan Mason in that spot.
This cliffhanger cat in the 8 spot is just cooking. He's got 2 receivers through 7 rounds.
Malik Neighbors, Devontae Adams.
And Naked Burrow.
Naked Burrow.
That's just, all right, what are you going to do? Just take a second tight end. Do it. Boo.
Godwin, he's making the play for
I'm 0% Godwin.
Godwin.
I'm 0% Godwin right now.
Yeah. Where would Chris Godwin have to fall for you to draft him right now?
Honestly, like not too much further because of the McMillan news, and I have so much McMillan. I have a preposterous amount of McMillan. Oof. McMillan, T. Ferg. Like I hit these guys so much. Khalil Shakir. I hit all of these guys so hard in June, and then it's like, all right, sick, awesome. But that's the damage of drafting in June, right? I also have like insane closing line ADP on Braylon Allen. So what are you gonna do? But yeah, no, Godwin is. I've gotten close a couple times now to hitting Godwin just since the McMillan, first half of the season IR, but haven't hit the button yet. I'm sure I'll do it at some point.
How early are you taking Emeka Egbuka? Because that's an ADP that's steamed up like crazy.
And that's the thing is, I always want to take him at ADP, and then he always goes 3 picks earlier. So I'm pretty light on Egbuka, which I don't love. The guy who I think needed to get bumped up after the McMillan news was Evans, and he hasn't been bumped up much. But like, that's the guy who's going to be. There's now a larger percentage of the pie, and like I like him more than I like a Marv right now, than a Devontae right now, so on and so forth.
We're about to be on the clock. We can go ahead and grab Justin Fields here.
Yeah, 108. So he's not making it back to us. Yeah, so I'm very inclined to take Fields.
And then who would your next player be here?
What's the full board? Man, Warren is I like that Warren's falling here, and like I would love to hit him, but obviously we have McBride, and I don't feel like I want to go tight end 2 that early. Yeah. I'm no B-Rob, I'm no Mixon, I'm very light on ETN. And so to me, like Charbonnet or Dobbins are the backs who stand out. We also still have to worry about our wide receiver bye weeks. What's receiver look like?
Receiver is
Mooney. I've hit plenty of Mooney still at ADP.
Yeah,
like I'm my sense is, and I don't know what you think about this. My sense is that there's going to be maybe a week 1 non availability, right? Like maybe lingering to week 2, but like he should be around for most weeks. It's certainly before the bye weeks start kicking in. And I expect that it's not that I expect that team to be very pass heavy, but I expect the targets to be pretty siloed, like pretty top heavy in terms of London and Mooney. And so if I can get a piece of what might be a really good passing offense with Penix, I feel very comfortable just taking it naked with no stacks and just waiting for those weeks where he has those 4 catches for 96 yards and a touchdown and just using those.
Absolutely. Quick recap of our team thus far through 9 rounds. Got a 1-2-5-1 build currently. QB Justin Fields, running back Breece Hall, Isaiah Pacheco, wide receivers Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, Jacoby Myers, Darnell Mooney, tight end Trey McBride. And entering an area of the draft where I'm usually taking, quarterbacks and tight ends and running backs, not as much the receivers here, which is good for us because we've got 5.
I'm like, I don't know where you are structure wise. I'm pretty much always 5 receivers by round 10, like as just like a cardinal rule. I know that like the Hayden Winks rule is like 6 by 10. I try to give myself a little bit more flexibility just to get unique. But especially in a draft where we went Jamar and T and we missed Burrow, now you have to start counting those guys as kind of more like 1 receiver instead of 2. Just in terms of if they're both counting, then you're losing to the Burrow Jamar T teams. And so you have to assume, okay, like one of these guys gets hurt, like one of these guys dramatically underperforms for your build to be live. And so now you need to get even a little bit more aggressive on receiver. So if I'm 2 backs through 10 rounds, I feel fine, right? I'll go just hit Garendo and Shipley and Rashad White and just hope that somebody pops, right? And like that's the kind of the nature of best ball.
Yeah, and getting a 4-5 turn Breece Hall is, I feel that's a really nice ADP value there that just kind of
running backs pretty much always comes to you. Like, it's very rare to be, in my opinion, in a lobby where running back just never comes your way. Like, at some point, teams, like, guys feel like they need to be chasing their stacks and their back stacks and, ensuring their wide receiver depth. And then all of a sudden you're just sitting there with like Austin Eckler 20 picks after ADP. And it's like, do I love Austin Eckler this year? No. Do I like a pass catching touchdown 3 of the weeks of the season at pick 164? Yeah. Like, I'm willing to take it.
Can you guess Austin Eckler's offensive snap percentage last year?
I mean, I would say 38%.
52%.
Yeah, right. Like, people are overweighting the last like 4 or 6 weeks of the season. Like, they were using that guy.
Yeah.
That's absurdly high for cross-key merit, dude. That's nuts. That's so high.
He's going very high. Bill's steaming.
Mm-hmm. I agree with whatever that chatter said about Loveland. Loveland's my number 1 owned tight end this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm at my top exposures right now are Dallas Goedert and Tucker Kraft. I was getting a lot of Tucker Kraft when he was at like 130.
Oh, nice.
Now he's around 119-ish.
Kraft's one of these guys that, like, when I started looking at exposures the last couple of weeks, I was like, all right, I tried to find a way to get more Kraft.
Yeah.
What's our board look like?
Pull that up.
Yeah, Charbonnet went.
So Tucker Kraft is right there.
Where are you at on Scadaboo?
I've had 28% Cam Scadaboo.
Okay. I also am still taking Scadaboo, even with the whole second team thing. So I would feel very comfortable clicking Scadaboo here. You scroll a little bit.
Yep.
I love Ramondre as a potential. All right, we'll go get Demario Douglas or something. Yeah, I feel great about Scadaboo. Keep scrolling for me. I like a Mims. Like, I'll do a Mims Hollywood Brown 1-2. Yeah, Scadaboo is really the only back I like too much. Other than that, if you have somebody you like in this group, then we'll take him. If you want to do the Kraft thing, just below ADP, we can grab him as well.
Yeah, we can do Kraft here.
Yeah, and I honestly I don't mind going early tight end too, because when you go and you look back at what knocks playoff teams out of rounds, week 15, week 16, or I should say week 14, week 15, week 16, the thing that you end up coming back to is that they goose egg one of the island positions, right? Like quarterback and tight end. Mm-hmm. And so I'm so much, and for the last couple of years, I've been so much more comfortable doing 3 tight end and being overweight on 3 tight end than the field is. And then I feel pretty comfortable spending, even after the early tight end, that mid round pick on a tight end, right? Like, if Kraft just kind of comes to you from an ADP perspective, I just take him. Like, there's a lot of tight ends I like late, but I don't need to spend every single draft getting AJ Barner, right? And all these other round 18 tight ends that I think are so valuable. Like, I don't want to be every single build that way.
How much final round Harold Fannin Jr. are you taking?
I want to get more because I kept on clicking T-Ferg because I would get so much like Mooney, or I would get so much like Puka, and then I would take Stafford before the whole Stafford back thing. And then I would take T-Ferg late. So yeah, Theo Johnson's another one. I'm big on Theo.
Yeah.
Barner, I was pretty heavy on. I'm not pretty heavy on. I was already clicking Barner before the Fant news, and then after the Fant news, especially with the Arroyo jump, I've just been clicking so much Barner. Fannon's one that I probably have to get more access to. I just think that offense is going to be so bad. So I don't like to have too much Browns exposure just as a team writ large.
Yeah. I'd love to hear your Cam Scadaboo case. I know people on this channel have heard it quite a bit from me.
I think that the rookies are going to play in New York, period. Right. I think that what is going to happen is that we are underweighting how much they're going to get their young guys action. Right. Theo Johnson, obviously a second-year player, being part of that theory. There goes Braylon Allen. Oh my God. And Scadaboo being part of that theory, Dart being part of that theory. So that's number one. Number two is that if Scadaboo gets rotational usage early in the season, it's the most valuable possible rotational usage that a running back can get in half PPR, which is Skippy goal line. That plus the fact that he's better at catching passes than I think folks give him credit for and the scouting report credit for. That if they start walking into game plans in week 5 when they're 1-4, going, we should try to get Scottaboo more touches. How do you want to do it? It's going to be catching passes, short yardage, and goal line, which is just like if I'm going to get outsized production from a running back that has less than 50% of the snaps, that's the era of the draft we're in right now. I want him to score touchdowns and catch passes. And so to me, like Scottaboo fills the model of that. Plus, then you have the bear case of he just outperforms Tracy. They're really bad. They move to young players, and then he ends up being the lion's share guy. So, like, it's him, Bashal Tootin. I'm not really a Jane Blue guy. I think it's mostly him and Tootin as the rookie guys that I want to take as those middle round players, like not Krosky Merritt, not Quinshon Judkins, with where he's going right now, as the backs who might like not do much for me weeks 1 through 9, but weeks 10 through 14 can be the sort of player that makes me unique in a playoff field.
Yeah, a 97th percentile.
What's our board look like?
Success rate as a short yardage runner for Cam Scattaboo.
Yeah, so I would love to walk out with one of Kyle Williams or Demario Douglas right now, just to get the stack behind on the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
And then did I see Trey Benson still around?
No, he was taken. Double check, but somebody took him.
He went. Yeah.
We'll mark both of these guys here. Penix is also available if we wanted to stack him with Mooney. We have the Geno stuff that maybe we can get him next time around, but I'm not sure if we would be able to.
I think Penix is probably the safer move, and just where we are right now from a team constructive perspective, like quarterback 2 is going to be the priority over running back 4 and wide receiver 7. So Penix for sure. Where do you land Williams versus Douglas?
Man, I think with the room that we have right now, we could take the upside shot on Kyle Williams. I feel like we don't need an innings eater like Pop Douglas as much.
Yeah, that's exactly how I always end up thinking about it. And I agree with you on the upside shot, because we're in that tricky spot, burrowing out of the Higgins chase hole. Where it's like, okay, like I need guys who can give me like fat wide receiver 1 weeks, because the guy who I planned to get a fat wide receiver 1 week, I accidentally took his teammate. I don't have their quarterback. So that in those cases, I go Kyle Williams. And then when it's like, hey, I went 4 rounds, first 4 receivers, and now I'm just trying to pepper the bye weeks, then I'll just take Demario Douglas, and I'll take my 9.3 points.
Love that. Our team so far: Justin Fields and Michael Penix at QB, running backs Breece Hall, Isaiah Pacheco, Cam Scattaboo, wide receivers Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, Jacoby Myers, Darnell Mooney, Kyle Williams, tight end Trey McBride, Tucker Kraft. This is shaping up real nice.
Yep. And this is like, we're now at the point in the draft, like, we just took Kyle Williams, where I start thinking to myself, okay, finish a stack, get a back stack, right? Okay, start looking for Giants receivers because we have Jacoby. Start looking for a 18th round Tyler Higbee or an 18th round Jarquez Hunter because we have the Atlanta players. But I tend to just let ADP come to me. Like I'm not too. I think people chase, especially when you get into the $25 lobbies and the higher lobbies. People really, really want the stacks to look nice. They want to feel good about week 17. It's like, man, you got to get there. And then when you get there, it's just some you want to be unique. You want weird stuff to happen, right? If you're walking in there with to give our example in one, to give, Chase Higgins and Burrow with McBride behind, man, even if you get that week 17, even if you bank it, you're still going to have 2 players in your team who nobody else has. Right. And so I feel very like, if I end up at a spot where I'm taking Tucker Kraft and I have no Raven and I have no Jordan Love and I have nothing behind, I'm okay with it, because I'm going to try to get a weird Tucker Kraft team to week 17, and all the other Love stacks and Lamar stacks will be gone. And then Kraft's going to go absolutely ballistic in a 20-17 game. And that's going to be the thing that makes me unique. And so like right about now is when I'll start thinking about scrolling down the board further for guys, but I try not to do it before like 12-13.
What do you think the ceiling case is for Jarquez Hunter if there are no injuries in that Rams backfield?
That he's just substantially better than Kyren Williams. And the only way we find that out is if Kyren misses some time. And so I took a decent amount of round 18 Hunter in June when it was like, Kyren Williams does not have an extension. And like, it's minicamp and he looks good. So, okay, I'll click Jarquez Hunter in week 18 and see if I can nail this. And then they extend Williams, and like all the reports out of camp have just been, Marquez Hunter is a depth guy for us. And so I'm still certainly happy to take him over like Jalen Coker, just to clarify, just to get a bring back to again have that uniqueness. Like I once we hit round 18, like I will scroll so far down the board because at that point you're trying to get unique. So I'm still happily take the Rams running back 3 just to have the Rams running back 3 on a stack that makes sense for him. And then I'll have a Jalen Coker team later down the road when I'm messing around with the Panthers. So for me, it's just the role that he has.
Yeah, I got a lot of Jalen Coker, 21% right now. About to be back on the board. These are the running backs at ADP.
So I would be immediate Rachaad White right here. I love Rachaad White this season. He just went. I'm going to die.
Yeah, he just went.
So on this running back board, I like Garendo. I like Dowdle. I like Ford. I still like Wright. I don't know who you like.
I have a lot of Rico Dowdle. I think taking Garendo here is good as well. I'd be down to take Dowdle. I think he'll have some standalone weeks.
Who else? Just scroll for me a little bit. I just want to see who else is on the board here. Yeah, stack wise, there's nobody who really is valuable to us. Yeah, I'm fine with. Yeah, I'm very, very happy with clicking it. And,
yeah,
we did take 3 week 14 buys. I missed that, but that happens. At running back.
Yeah, but they're the later. They're like there are the last 3 running backs that we've taken. Hopefully, Breece Hall and Isaiah Pacheco and whoever we take next can get us through that week 14.
Can you look at quarterback real quick? Gino went. Yeah, he went. Okay, so Tua just kind of hanging around for some reason.
Yeah, Tua, Anthony Richardson, Sam Darnold is there. It wouldn't be the end of the world to have a Justin Fields and Michael Penix, just 2 QB room. I would like a third QB there probably, but I'm not like wailing and gnashing my teeth if all these quarterbacks kind of fly off before.
Yeah, can you show our team board again real quick?
Yes, absolutely. Justin Fields, Michael Penix, Breece Hall, Isaiah Pacheco, Cam Scatterbu, Isaac Garendo, Rico Dowdle.
So what I'm looking at here is I say if I have Myers and I already have Scatterbu, then if I want to go third quarterback, I probably am trying to find a way to click Darius Slayton and then click Jackson Dart and assume that I go get it late in the season.
Yeah.
Since we were heavy 2 tight end, I'm probably not going for Theo Johnson there. And so in a lot of worlds, I'd be willing to do Theo if Slayton, and I'm assuming, Wandale already came off the board. Slayton doesn't make it to us and we have to do Theo. Start to be maybe 50-50. Maybe I just take Dart and Scatterbu, and I hope that again, same thing with Justin Fields theory. He's the pass catcher. Where are you at on the Ollie Gordon jump? Because I don't get it.
on his ADP rising or people liking him better than Jalen Wright?
6-1, half dozen the other. Same thing to me.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't that big on Ollie Gordon as a prospect. I'm also not big on Jalen Wright either. If something happens to Achane, then I don't know how much they actually run it opposed to.
Fan in 16-3.
Wow.
Scott Smith 16-1. K Dot in 15-11. Oh my God, what are we up to? Quarter 15-10. That stretch of picks there was wild.
Yeah.
Did the guy who took Tua have anybody Dolphins? Woody Marks.
Does he? I don't think he does.
Just taking the value on the Tua drop. I love it.
He's the one that took Bowers at 9.
He's cooking. He's up to something.
Yeah. He's getting his guys. All right.
There goes Dart. All right. There goes that plan.
I have a potential plan here.
Thinking Jones, Pierce.
I don't want to say it because I don't.
Right. I forget that people can watch these things now.
They snipe the shit out of us on here, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I've got 21% Jalen Coker. Yeah, Coker and Slayton are.
Coker, just
my top guys.
Spike week theory, right? Wide receiver 3-4. He'd be so fast. He has the big plays.
So I'll get to the Coker thing as soon as we finish these picks here.
There goes Horton.
Yeah, that was kind of my plan was Darnold Horton. Yeah. We are on the clock.
So if it were me, I would go Jones, Pierce, or Jones, Adonai, and I would make that the last option. Or you can go Rogers, Calvin. But I like Jones just with the rushing ability as well.
Okay. Daniel Jones and you said Alec Pierce.
Yeah, I prefer Pierce to Adonai. Obviously, I think both of them were better with Richardson as the quarterback because they're both the downfield guys. Adonai's just very inconsistent. Pierce is a lot more consistent. And people talk about Mitchell as, oh, he's this round 2 draft pick, high tier athleticism. Alec Pierce is round 2 draft pick and is like great athletic testing. Like it's just a white dude. And so it's a lot easier to forget, or it's a lot easier to forget that he's kind of that same caliber of guy. And they play him for like over 1,000 snaps. He's our blocking dude. So he just sees the field a lot more.
They are obsessed with Alec Pierce.
Yep.
Chris Ballard, huge Alec Pierce guy. Shane Steichen as well just keeps talking him up year after year. And when it happened last offseason, I was like, I don't know. He didn't look great in his rookie year, but they just like nonstop kept talking him up. Then he had a pretty decent season best ball wise, right? Not a guy that you would want in a managed league. And then, same kind of stuff this past offseason of Steichen talking about how he's ascending and Ballard talking about how he's like always coming to them, asking them what he can do better and how he can get better. And yeah, it's pretty good. And the AD Mitchell stuff, interesting prospect. There's definitely a ceiling there if he maxes out his potential, but that's the question of like, can he be consistent? And they've talked about that and saying, hey, it's good that we've seen him over the last week or so in training camp perform really well, but we need consistency there, and the like contested catches and balls and in traffic concern me a little bit because the play strength is a little bit of a red flag, I think. As far as Jalen Coker,
can you show the team real quick?
What's that?
Can I see the team real quick?
Yes.
Just trying to figure out who we're looking at for this last pick.
Yeah. Probably a running back.
Yeah. What's the receiver room? 10, 10, 9, 8, 5, 14, 11. Yeah, we're fine there. Tight end, we're fine. Yeah, almost certainly a back.
Oh,
Coker, you're saying?
Yeah. So Jalen Coker, first of all, great stat from Jacob Gibbs on he was either first or second. I think first against man coverage last season on catchable targets. Just a very, very good wide receiver. Pops and Matt Harmon's reception perception. I think he may be their second best receiver there in Carolina. Dave Canales does not mind, pulling the plug on starters,
right? Yeah.
When other coaches would just keep playing those guys. We saw that with Bryce Young getting the hook after 2 games last year. And Canales recently said it again that, whoever the best player is, that's who I'm going to have out on the field. Jerome Ford is still on the board. Wow.
That's very surprising to me. I would go Ford, or I'd go one of these Baltimore backs just because they fill 3 stacks for us here, which is crazy and kind of nice.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You can go Ford though. It's so far below ADP.
That's a crazy ADP value. Scoop there. Guy
so much Roshan. I assumed you have no Roshan. You're they haven't talked about Roshan guy.
I took a lot of him early. I had to do a lot of early drafts just because I knew the season was going to get super busy and I wouldn't have as much time to draft during this time of the year. And it was okay. Well, DeAndre Swift, not a very good short yardage back. Roshan Johnson probably getting a lot of that goal line work. And then, who knows what else he gets. I'm not making that click lately, unless usually like a guest on stream will say, hey, how about we click Roshan Johnson here?
Who's the guy made you click that was most painful?
Oh, great question. Probably Daniel Jones.
Yeah, don't love it, but I feel like you want to have a third quarterback with how we were built, and I would have much preferred Darnold or Dart for sure.
Yeah, Darnold, Torrey Horton would have been super nice.
Very nice.
Yeah. Recapping our team here: quarterbacks Justin Fields, Michael Penix Jr., Daniel Jones. Running backs, Breece Hall, Isaiah Pacheco, Cam Scattaboo, Isaac Guerrero, Rico Dowdle, Jerome Ford. Wide receivers, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, Jacoby Myers, Darnell Mooney, Kyle Williams, Alec Pierce. Tight ends, Trey McBride, Tucker Kraft. How are you feeling about that team we just drafted, Ben?
Good. The thing I'm most happy about is that I said running back usually comes to you, and then you really hope that running back comes to you when you say in a draft. And I feel like running back came to us very nicely.
It did.
Right, came on the board well. I think losing Burrow to whatever that cat was cooking in the 8 spot was tough. And when you do that, you a little bit have to scramble it together. You can't feel amazing about a draft that just starts Jamar, Trey McBride, and doesn't get to bring either of the quarterbacks from that sort of a game, because then you need those guys to carry you the whole season and then not bring you to the through the playoffs. But alas,
the icon wants us to take a look.
Oh, he's the guy who got Garrett so far late after ADP. That's very nice.
He's got Bo Nix, Bryce Young at QB, Saquon Barkley, DeAndre Swift, Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, Javonte Williams, Will Shipley, wide receivers McConkey, Tyreek, Garrett Wilson, Sutton, Ayuk, Liget, De'Ami Brown, Darius Slayton, Mark Andrews, Juwan Johnson. It looks all right. I hate the Joe Mixon pick because I don't think he's going to play this season.
I think it's a 0 as well.
And it's very possible he does not play football ever again.
I think you're cooking at tight end. Mark Andrews into round 18, Juwan Johnson. It would scare me to death. I'm very scared of like a 0 at tight end in the playoff series. And so that's what concerns me. Like you just obviously Mark had a very, very good touchdown season last season, but you're worried about that regressing or about the likely hype. And then only behind Juwan 18, that would freak me out. With that said, I forget what those first 4 receivers were, but it was like nice relative to ADP. It was some splashy guys. That'll take you a long way.
Yeah. Ben, I know you got to go here shortly. Before I let you go, would love to know, what are your 4 favorite films?
Oh man, that's not good because I don't really watch a lot of movies. And I get yelled at for it. I got yelled at for it a lot at the Ringer, less so now at ESPN, not so much a movie place. So I have to give like decent answers here. I've always really enjoyed the Oceans movie series. And so Ocean's 11 to me, like it's probably one of the first like grown up movies I watched when I was like a young teen. And like I hold that movie in a fun place in my heart. So I love that movie. I love How to Train Your Dragon. All right. Not the live action. Give me the animated every single time. That's like my go-to writing playlist is that movies playlist. And so How to Train Your Dragon to me is like a GOAT movie. Ratatouille is the other movie. I don't listen to that playlist as much, but Ratatouille always rips. All right. Anton Ego is one of the scariest characters to ever exist, animated or otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Ratatouille's up there. What else do I like? I like the usual stuff. I like the Dark Knight's good. Inception's good. Like all the Nolan stuff is great. I'm sure there's other ones I'm not thinking of right now, but I mean, I haven't watched, I've got a baby at home, number 2 on the way, but I haven't watched a movie in months, man. Like I went to the theaters for the first time in like legitimate, like 5-6 years with my in-laws the other week. And so I'm not a big movie guy.
Okay. That's a good list. Get a lot of Dark Knight, a lot of Nolan films from people.
Yeah, there's a lot of football writers. We're pretty basic when it comes to the movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you all for hanging out today. And Ben, please let us know what you've got going on and where we can find you.
Yeah, so you can find me podding, Me and Kime Show featuring Lenny, doing some preseason recaps. Obviously, be doing in-season as well. Find all my written work at ESPN.com. Got NFL watchability rankings, NFL training camp tour stuff. Got Trey Hendrickson column coming out. So just, if you've heard of ESPN, that's where I'm at.
All right, go find them at the worldwide leader in sports. Thanks to Ben for coming and drafting a team with us today. And we'll see y'all soon. All right, peace.
Take care.